US strikes at the heart of China's bid to become a tech superpower. China had been counting on its biggest chipmaker to help the country eventually reduce its reliance on the likes of Intel and Samsung. The United States just put those ambitions in jeopardy. Washington announced Friday that it will require US exporters to apply for a license before they can sell to Semiconductor Manufacturing International Corporation, SMIC. The US government claims that the chipmaker can use its tech to help China modernize its armed forces. SMIC says it has no relationship with the Chinese military. But in a statement on Sunday, the company acknowledged that while the restrictions are unlikely to hurt its short-term operations, its loftier goals are in doubt. The new US rules will have a material adverse effect on its ability to develop highly advanced chips, it said. That's because Washington has said that any request to export tech needed to produce super advanced chips will be subject to a presumption of denial, a major problem for SMIC, which uses American-made software and equipment to create its chips. SMIC was already facing huge hurdles as it tried to catch up to global competitors. The company remains 3 to 5 years behind industry leaders Intel, Samsung and TSMC, which are all capable of producing chips in 7.5 and 3 nanometer sizes. We think this is one of many blows to China, limiting its rise as a tech superpower, said Felix Li, an equity analyst for Morningstar, in a research note published earlier this month that anticipated US export restrictions. Although Chinese substitutes have emerged in parts of the supply chain, their specifications are typically 2 to 3 generations behind, he pointed out in a separate report published in September. For example, Li wrote that he thinks it will be hard for SMIC to fully localize production of semiconductors in the 40 nanometer range, let alone ones in the 5 nanometer range that TSMC and Samsung have already commercialized. It's clear that investors are worried about the company's future. SMIC's Hong Kong-listed shares were down 0.9% to close at 18.96 Hong Kong dollars, $2.50 on Tuesday, their lowest value in more than 2 months. They've lost 4.5% since the US ban was announced. Earlier this month, the government unveiled rules that will allow the country's chipmakers to be exempt from corporate income taxes for several years if they meet certain requirements. And Chinese President Xi Jinping recently said at an economic conference that the country needs to strengthen China's strategic tech power so it can break a foreign stranglehold on key tech, according to state news agency Xinhua. And analysts at Bernstein wrote in a Sunday research note that they expect China to bail out SMIC if necessary. More money may not solve the problem created by US tensions, though. The United States has constantly abused export controls and other measures to suppress and contain specific enterprises in other countries, ministry spokesperson Wang Wenbin told reporters at a regular press briefing. Beijing will have an opportunity to reset relations next month when President-elect Joe Biden takes office. Observers have said they expect Biden to strike a more diplomatic tone than President Donald Trump, though tensions likely won't evaporate completely. The Bernstein analyst said that ultimately, the Chinese government may need to make other concessions if it wants to ease the pressure on chipmakers. The dire situation that SMIC is in may not be totally reversed, but possibly partially alleviated, they added.